If you want to pass the CISSP in under 2 months, here's your plan. I went through dozens of success stories on the CISSP Reddit, pulled out the resources people said worked best, and combined them into a system. I used this exact approach myself and passed. These are, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many others who have passed, the best resources to use. In the first month, you should combine 3 resources: Pete Zerger's domain videos, the Destination Certification Concise guide with its mind maps, and the LearnZapp app. Pete Zerger doesn't just list facts or definitions. He teaches you how to think like a CISSP candidate. That means shifting from the mindset of an engineer who fixes technical problems to the mindset of a security manager who evaluates risk, chooses policies, and protects the organization at a higher level. His walkthrough of all 8 domains helps you understand how they connect and how to approach questions from the exam's perspective. Not which firewall command is correct, but which decision best protects the business long term. The Destination Certification Concise guide is, in my opinion, and in the opinion of the majority of people who have recently passed, a better starting point than the official study guide. The OSG is thorough, but it's dry, heavy, and tough to get through cover to cover. Destination Certification is concise, structured, and covers the majority of the material that actually shows up on the exam. The mind maps are especially powerful if you're a visual learner and help you keep the big picture in mind. LearnZapp is a bit more debated. Not everyone finds it useful, but for me, it was incredibly helpful, especially for learning the deeper topics and really going through the entire body of knowledge. I saw it as a great complement to Zerger and Destination Certification. You just need to know that the questions in LearnZapp are much easier than the real exam, but that's exactly why they're so good for learning the material in the first place. By the end of month 1, you'll have a full overview of the domains, the manager's mindset, and a consistent routine of active recall. In month 2, the focus shifts to practice and exposing your weaknesses. The best tool for that is quantum exams. The questions are widely considered the most realistic compared to the actual exam. The style, the wording, and the way they test your judgment all mirror the CISSP exam format very closely. In fact, most people say that the quantum exams questions are even harder than the real exam itself, and that's exactly what makes them so valuable. If you can score well on quantum, you can go into the actual test with real confidence. The only downside is the price. Quantum is relatively expensive, and for some people, that cost can be a real barrier. If you don't want to spend that much money, there is a strong alternative: the Destination Certification app. It's free, it gives you a large pool of practice questions, and it's an excellent option to drill concepts and reinforce what you've already learned. The key here is to use these tools consistently and strategically. Schedule focused practice sessions a few times a week, analyze your results, and then go back to Pete Zerger or the Concise Guide to strengthen the domains where you're still weak. Now, for the final stage, CISSP, Last Mile by Pete Zerger. It's short, focused, and designed to consolidate everything you've already studied. Many Reddit users said it was the resource that gave them confidence in their last week before the exam. At this point, go back through the mind maps, review the major frameworks, and spend extra time on your weakest areas. The key here is not to add brand new resources. Use Last Mile to sharpen and reinforce what you've already learned. A lot of people fail the CISSP on their first attempt, not because they didn't study enough, but because they studied the wrong way. 3 big pitfalls come up again and again. Pitfall 1, relying only on multiple choice drills without analyzing the why. Doing hundreds of practice questions can feel productive, but if you don't stop to understand why the right answer is correct, and just as importantly, why the wrong answers are wrong, you're not building transferable knowledge. The exam doesn't repeat questions, it tests your reasoning. So unless you dig into the explanation behind each question, you'll just be memorizing patterns, instead of learning how to think like the exam wants you to. Pitfall 2, jumping into details too early. Many candidates rush into memorizing ports, protocols, or cryptographic algorithms right at the start. The problem is that CISSP isn't a technical deep dive exam. It's a managerial exam. If you don't first understand the big picture, how the domains connect, how policies and processes guide decisions, how to protect the organization overall, then those details won't stick. And worse, they'll distract you from the real focus. Details matter, but only after you've built the foundation. Learn the big picture first, then layer in the specifics where they actually fit. Pitfall 3, using too many resources at once. A lot of people collect every CISSP book, video course, and question bank they can find, and then never finish any of them. That just creates overload and confusion. 3 or 4 solid resources that you actually use are far better than 10 half-used ones. Focus beats variety in this exam. If you avoid these traps, your study time becomes far more efficient, and you'll actually be preparing the way the exam is designed to test you. So here's the 2-month roadmap. Month 1. Use Pete Zerger's domain videos, the Destination Certification Concise guide with mind maps, and the LearnZapp app together as your foundation. Month 2. Use quantum exams or the free Destination app to identify weak areas. Finish with Last Mile to polish everything, and avoid the common pitfalls that hold so many candidates back. This is the exact approach that worked for me, and for many others who recently passed. If you follow this plan with consistency and discipline, you'll put yourself in a very strong position to pass the CISSP on your first attempt. One final note before you start your own journey. Be realistic about the time commitment. If you want to pass in under 2 months and you don't already have experience in a few of the domains, I recommend dedicating at least 15 hours per week. That could mean 2 hours a day on weekdays and a longer study block on the weekend. The important part is consistency. Build a routine and stick to it. Use videos, the book, and apps in combination, and make sure your schedule allows you to cover all domains while still leaving time for review and practice.